years, we managed to rid many cities of this waste and disease. So how did we get to be so clean? Well, it took guys like the maverick railway engineer who lifted a city to build America's first sewers.
It's a crazy idea. It's also kind of a beautiful one.
And the doctor who added potentially lethal chemicals to the water supply of an entire city. These are classic examples of the kind of people who actually made the modern world. People you've probably never heard of. These were the hobbyists, garage inventors, and obsessive tinkerers. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The thing about these pioneers is they didn't just make our world a cleaner place. They also set off an amazing chain reaction of ideas. The result were innovations that would affect every aspect of our lives, from the world of high tech to fashion, law and order, all the way to health. I want to show how these seemingly unconnected worlds are linked by the unsung heroes of clean.
I'm Stephen Johnson. I write about ideas and innovation. This is the untold story of how we got to now.
How we got to now was made possible in part by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You know, you look around, today's city streets are so clean you could eat your dinner off of them. A city like San Francisco spends $50 million a year spraying and sweeping and generally keeping the streets free of filth. But just a few feet below me, there is a tide of highly toxic waste.
This deeply unpleasant river of filth is one of the biggest health issues cities around the world face. To see it requires some serious safety gear, a huge team of people,
There we go. Okay. Oh, yeah.
and nerves of steel. Ironically, the story of clean starts in the dirtiest place imaginable.
Another day, another sewer. Alright, here we go. Okay. We're going in. You can already smell it from here. Delightful, yeah. Alright. Going down.
These are San Francisco's sewers. There's almost 1,000 miles of these tunnels that run beneath the city, hidden from view.
I need my leg
This
after
space
this class.
is incredible. It's really hot down here, and the smell is just kind of overwhelming. And there are lots of little critters walking along on the sides. This is the underbelly of the city. I mean, in an incredible way. Like, this is what makes cities possible. Is this kind of space, but we never see it. We never experience it. It's an extraordinary thing.
But what's even more remarkable is that many of San Francisco's sewers were constructed well over 100 years ago. This old infrastructure has now been expanded as the city above has grown, which means it requires regular maintenance by people like Gene Cruz.
So where is all this waste? Is it pouring out of someone's apartment building right here?
This is a lateral going to the apartment building. So people taking showers, washing their dishes, going to the bathroom, it all comes into the sewer.
And this is, where is this flowing to?
This is all going to flow to another big sewer, and it goes to our sanitary plant.
Did he
where
just
it's
rub his
treated.
nose with the glove?
The journey from homes to wastewater treatment facilities is only made possible thanks to these amazing century-old sewer lines.
This line was put in I think, 1868.
1868?
Yeah. Look at the structure, looks fantastic.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Today, we take it for granted that there's somewhere for our waste to go when we flush a toilet. But just 5 generations ago, there were no comprehensive sewer networks anywhere in America. It meant that much of the filth you see down here was on the streets and sidewalks.
You get a hard job easy. You guys done? Ready to strip him? Strip me.
The history of clean streets is surprisingly short. As we rewind the clock, you can rapidly see our cities becoming ever dirtier places to live. And nowhere is filthier or more unpleasant than mid-19th century Chicago, the place where the story of clean in American cities first begins. Back in the 19th century, Chicago has a particular problem when it comes to keeping clean.
We think of horses as these symbols of natural beauty, but imagine what it was like when all these cars were horses. And you take thousands of these, put them on the streets of an already crowded city like Chicago, things can get pretty grim. Just imagine what this street would have been like 150 years ago. You're walking out in your fine 19th century outfit, and the sidewalk is literally lined with this. I mean, it's an appalling mix of human and animal excrement that you have to wade through on your way out to dinner.
The city is convinced that the smell of this toxic waste is causing the huge levels of disease they're experiencing. Something has to be done. So Chicago hires this man, engineering maverick Ellis Chesbrough. Chesbrough thinks he can rid the city of its waste by building the first comprehensive sewer system of any major American city. But there's a problem. Chicago is just too flat. And that makes it astronomically expensive to build sewers underground.
Chesbrough's got an incredible idea. If you can't dig down, why not lift the city up? And he's got the perfect technology to do it, the jack screw.
The jack screw is a simple device used largely on the railways to lift trains on and off the track. But Chesbrough sees that it could be put to use in his sewer building project.
You can use a couple of these to lift a locomotive. Why not use them to lift a building or a block or an entire neighborhood? It's a crazy idea, but it's also kind of a beautiful one, using railroad technology to keep the city streets clean.
Starting in the 1850s, building by building, Chicago is lifted by jack screws. The spectacle draws crowds of startled onlookers who watch on as the city is lifted right before their eyes. In 1868, one British visitor watches a 22,000-ton hotel be lifted. This is what he had to say about it. The people were in it all the time, coming and going, eating and sleeping, the whole business of the hotel proceeding without interruption. In 1860, engineers raised an entire city block. With superhuman effort, almost an acre of 5-story buildings weighing an estimated 35,000 tons were lifted by over 6,000 jack screws. As the jack screws did their work, sewers were laid at the perfect angle to drain. With the buildings lifted, new foundations were built beneath and raised streets and sidewalks were installed. But buildings weren't just lifted in Chicago, To make room for the sewers, some got moved altogether.
I got a great quote. Never a day passed during my stay in the city that I did not meet one or more houses shifting their quarters. Going out Great Madison Street in the horse cars, we had to stop twice to let houses get across. I mean, there's a lot of traffic in today's Chicago, but at least you don't have to worry about houses going down the street in front of you.
By lifting these buildings, Ellis Chesbrough was able to build the first comprehensive sewer network in America and clean Chicago streets of the muck and stench. But the project was destined to have some remarkable and surprising consequences.
When you do something as ambitious as lifting an entire city, it fires people up. Chesbrough had proved that even under the most difficult circumstances, sewers could be built. Inspired by Chicago's example, within 3 decades, 20 American cities have built their own networks of underground sewer tunnels.
But building sewers is just the beginning of a change that will transform our planet. With the muck off the streets, attention soon turns to trash. By 1914, over 70 cities in America are providing municipal refuse collection. By the 1930s, modern sanitation companies are collecting garbage for the first time. And American cities